Welcome everybody back to Dong City, June 9th, 2021 edition. Hold on. I'm getting some feedback here. Sorry about that. Like I was saying, June 9th, 2021 edition, episode 63, the Raphael Betancourt. I couldn't find anybody better than Raphael Betancourt that wore 63 for such a long time. So here we are. As you can tell, we have Melvin subbing for Vince this week. I think Vince is on a boat somewhere just bullshitting and doing God knows what, but he ain't here, and so we have Melvin sitting in for him. Melvin, how you doing today?
Hey, how y'all doing today? I'm coming fresh off of a Cubs win. Okay, they won a series, in San Diego. It's never easy. So there's still hope there. I'm wearing the vintage 1929 shirt today. So
I'm wearing the vintage Dong City inaugural T-shirt is what I'm wearing. So we got a few things to talk about today. I don't think we have to start anywhere. We could just start fresh. Josh Donaldson throwing everybody under the bus. He named Gerrit Cole in the cheating scandal, not the cheating scandal, sorry, the sticky substance scandal, I guess we'll call it. And he mentioned Gerrit Cole by name. He mentioned he has videos of other players, and Ken Davidoff from I think he's with the Post these days. He asked Gerrit Cole a question yesterday, and this was Gerrit Cole's response. You got audio, Rob?
I don't know. I don't know if I don't quite know how to answer that, to be honest. There are customs and practices that have been passed down from older players to younger players, from the last generation of players to this generation of players, and I think there are some things that are certainly out of bounds in that regard, and I've stood pretty firm in terms of that, in terms of the communication between our peers and whatnot. And I, again, like I mentioned earlier, there's this is important to a lot of people that love the game. This is including the players in this room, including fans, including teams. And so if MLB wants to legislate some more stuff, that's a conversation that we can have, because ultimately we should all be pulling in the same direction on it.
That was an absolutely brutal response. If there was the worst way you could answer it, that was it. That was just horrific. He got caught off guard. He tried to clean it up toward the end, which I think he was doing better at. But that response was just absolutely atrocious.
I think, and I promised Vince that as part of my agreement to be here today was that I was going to be very rough on the Yankees, and I shall be in due time. But among all the people that should lose their job in the Yankee organization, there's a lot of people that I'm going to declare right now that should lose their job in their Yankee organization. Among all these people should be a PR manager or person in that organization. Somebody in PR or in PR should be getting fired for sending this player that has no idea how to respond to these New York media questions out there into the wolves. I mean, this is a scandal, okay? It's a scandal. And you just sent a very unassuming guy out there in the middle of the New York media that's been mentioned by name by a former MVP. And so somebody should have prepared Cole a little better. I'm going to say this.
I agree.
Somebody in the New York Yankee PR staff that's in charge of media relations should have prepared Cole better to respond. Now, listen, what did Donaldson say? Let me ask you a question. Did Donaldson say something we didn't know?
He didn't. I don't even know why Josh Donaldson is even bringing this up when they're in the middle of a bargain.
I compare this to the guy that walks around saying, wrestling's fake, right? Like I compare it to this kind of people. That's how annoyed I am. Oh, okay, Donaldson. Now what?
Yeah, there was no
Now
reason
what?
for this. To your point, I think the Yankees did a poor job at making him prepared for this. I will say this: the guy who does PR for the Yankees is excellent. His name is Jason Zillow. He's among the best. So I don't think he should be fired because this guy he handled the A-Rod crisis. I don't know if you remember that in spring training. Jason Zillow was on top of the game, but the Yankees dropped the ball here. This guy's got to be prepared. You know this is out there. You know the possibility that a question will be
But
asked.
you know what? It rolls downhill. It rolls downhill. But somebody needs to be held accountable. If not him, because he's got a good cushion, then you know what happens. It rolls downhill. But somebody needs to be held accountable for this.
You know what this reminds me of?
That was a major blunder. That was a major PR blunder.
You know what this reminds me of, Melvin? It
What?
reminds me of this. Can you see it?
Uh-huh.
Listen to this.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
That's what Gerrit Cole sounded like to me yesterday. And I just, when I heard him talk, I literally thought of this little kid, because anytime somebody stutters, this is the kid that I think about. And as soon as that happened, I said, this is what the fuck Gerrit Cole sounds like. Horrible
It was
job.
terribly handled. This guy was not ready. And you know what? Trevor Bauer better get ready, but you know Trevor Bauer's got a bigger mouth. So he's gonna.
That's the problem. It all started with Trevor Bauer basically tempting fate here and telling people, hey, he was taunting people in the offseason, and this is what you get. You get unintended circumstances, and this is what you get here. You get Trevor Bauer, who's got a big mouth, who said all these things, and he's taunting. I get he's having fun. I like when he's having fun, but sometimes he talks too much, and this is the repercussions of it.
Okay, so now that the cat's out of the bag, my question is, now they're talking about enforcing this.
Yeah.
And I see one of these things that's good in theory. Don't get me wrong, this is a good thing in theory, but I don't see a reason why. And I wrote about this in the chat, not in the chat, in the page the other day. I don't see a reason why we can't come together between and during the next CBA, the owners and the players, and come up with one substance that's approved by everybody. Because guess what? It's always happened. It's always happened. It will continue happening. I mean, you can't tell me I can't wear sunscreen. Well, what happens when I sweat? Well, there you go. There it goes. What's his name? Ryan Dempster was talking about.
Here's the problem. Here's a problem with that. Right now, we're in such a weird place with MLB and with the Players Association that everything has become a negotiation. Even something as simple as the DH. The DH, everyone can admit, is good for the game. Forget about whether you like it or not. The DH is good for baseball.
Good for baseball. It's better to see
get another job.
9 hitters than 8 hitters. I agree.
Owners get the offense they seek. Fans get the offense they seek. You put universal DH, everybody wins. But what happens is we're in this space where everything is a negotiation now for the new CBA, that you can't even get something as simple as universal DH pass. You can't get something like the shift. I love the shift, but I understand getting rid of it. You want to increase defenses. I mean offense. I get it. I'm a fan. You want to immediately do it? No. Instead, baseball doctors the baseball. What's this? 3 years in a row we have a different baseball. And
3 years.
I think I have a new man crush, and he is in New York, but he's not on the Yankees. He is on the Mets. Now, the reason I say that is because Pete Alonso, who is a third-year player, he's only a third-year player. He's the player rep for the Mets on the union. Pete Alonso had one of the best responses that I've heard in a long time about this whole situation. Rob, you got that video queued up? Here's Pete Alonso's response to this whole thing when he was asked a question yesterday. Make sure the audio's on.
That the biggest concern is that Major League Baseball manipulates the baseballs year in and year out, depending on the free agency class, or guys being in an advanced part of their arbitration. So I do think that's a big issue. The ball being different every single year. With other sports, the ball's the same, like basketball, football, tennis, golf, like ball's the same. So I think that's the real issue with the changing of the baseballs. And maybe if the league didn't change the baseball, pitchers wouldn't need to use as much sticky stuff, because for guys that feel the ball and throw the ball every single day, and for it to change every single year, it's not fair to the people who are, using it every single day and throwing it. So for me, I would rather them have.
And he's right.
Yeah, it stops there.
He's right. Everything he said is right. Third-year player Pete Alonso is the person that makes the most sense in this whole situation.
Absolutely. But how do we then one substance for everybody that everybody agrees upon? Because the pitchers are not, and the batters know, like most of the batters, I mean, this is my problem, and I have no problem with Donaldson saying what he did. I mean, but every batter knows that this is out there. I mean, there's very few people complaining about, about this that's involved from within. All this is from a spectator viewpoint. People are bored because they want to see the ball and play more. This is the crux of the subject here. This is not about production. This is not about good baseball. This is not about good management. This is not about good stats. This is about increasing viewership. That's all this is about. So, okay, so let's agree. One substance, everybody's happy, everybody agrees with it. I remember going to winter ball back in the island, and the coaches would sit out and start rubbing the baseballs and start messing with them and start doctoring them. It's been happening.
You have a bag of rosin. Secret. Yeah, you have a bag of rosin right behind the mound for that very reason.
Right behind the mound. So what does that become when you mix it with sweat? What is the purpose? Is not to just keep your hands dry, people. That is not the only reason that's there for. Okay, so I mean, what are you gonna tell me? Are you gonna now that you open that box, how far do you go? I got a baseball signed by Gaylord Perry. You want to talk about what he used? Or I mean, come on. No, we're addressing this a century too late. We might as well just legislate it, one substance for everybody, and then everybody wins, and then we move on. Because I mean, we're still talking about replay 10 years later. So
they're putting sprinkles on shit and they're calling it an ice cream cone is what the owners are doing. And like I said before, you have owners and players butting heads. You can almost guarantee that there's going to be a lockout next season. I guarantee there's going to be a lockout. There's going to be a work stoppage.
It's definitely, I mean,
and I think the sport needs it, because while the sport is very unpopular these days, it's generating money. It will always generate money. The people that love baseball. They will buy tickets. They will buy merch. They will buy a concession. They're gonna go to games.
And the TV deals are locked in for 20 years.
So MLB revenue-wise has no problem. MLB has an identity crisis. You don't know if you want to let the kids play the game or you want to adhere to these unwritten rules, and then you have the old farts versus the young crew. MLB has a big identity crisis on their hand. Their biggest star is boring. The guys that are fun get backlash for having fun. People calling Juan Soto all kind of names because he was doing the little wiggle yesterday. Fernando Tatis has become the most hated player by some people. You know what I mean? So MLB has a big identity crisis. They have a big crisis with young fans. And you keep doing shit like this, you're not going to bring those fans on board. People love offense. People love showmanship. They love excitement. That's what you have to do. So this next collective bargaining agreement is going to be very, very interesting to see what's negotiated. It's going to be interesting to see what battles we have. And this might be the last you see of Tony Clark, because he's been doing an absolute shit job as a Players Association president.
Man, he had all the leverage in the world with the COVID agreement. He had all the leverage. He's going into this bargaining agreement with all the leverage. Like, he is holding the DH card in his hand. If he lets that drop, I don't know what's going to happen to him, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. If we're at least not playing with the DH by next year, if he lets that ball drop, I don't know what's going to happen to Tony Clark. The National League is one of only 2 leagues in the whole wide world that still lets the pitcher bat. And the pitcher can get hurt. It's not good. It's better baseball. I like it from a chess standpoint because that's how I was raised. But I understand what's better for the sport is for 9 hitters to hit instead of 8, and for 1 pitcher to pitch and just pitch, do what they do best. I don't know. I don't get it.
I playfully shared a video of Jacob deGrom visibly going to his belt and then going to the thumb of his glove. I was doing it tongue in cheek to show you that, hey, even the best pitcher in the sport does it. It turned into something else. The Met fans got defensive like always. But it just goes to show you that the top 2 pitchers in the league are now going to be targets. And you can't have that if you're MLB baseball. You can't target your players when you're really the problem. So I don't like where this is headed, and I'd be interested to see what's going to happen. I think Gerrit Cole's actually pitching tonight, so it'd be interesting to see how he pitches with all this going on. So I know we spoke about exciting players. Something else that kind of blew up the group is I posted a picture of Fernando Tatis Jr., the MLB lightning rod, as I will call him from now on. And apparently he told an exec before he signed his deal that he wants to be the Dominican Derek Jeter. Anytime you mention Derek Jeter in our group, two things happen. The Yankee fans applaud it, and the Yankee haters just eat it alive, and you know what happens after that. And this post was nothing short of that. So I love Fernando Tatis. I think if he becomes Derek Jeter, he would be very, very happy. He's already made the Derek Jeter money, or he will make the Derek Jeter money. His contract is locked in. So I love that Fernando Tatis is getting people's feathers bunched up here. What do you think?
Listen, this is the face of baseball right here, whether you like it or not, ladies and gentlemen. Right there, that dude right there is the face of the new generation. If this was WWE, this is 1999, and that's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay, that's the face of the sport, like it or not.
I guess one sort of would be The Rock.
The Rock. I would say Acuna would be The Rock. And you know what? That is just an indictment. We are in
Mike Trout is John Cena, the boring white guy.
That's Mike Trout.
And
that is,
those of you who don't know, we do have a wrestling group called Wrestling Life. So
the sport is in the middle of having these generational talents come in, like this type of guys that you only see once every now and a while. Now here come here's what happens in the group when you mention Derek Jeter. Oh my God, he was this defensively. He was this defensively. Okay, you know what? Take away all the defensive numbers. Is he still a Hall of Famer with a 0 defensive WAR? Is he still a Hall of Famer? The answer is yes. Okay, because on offensive numbers alone, he's a Hall of Famer. And what Tatis said was
Jeter.
He wants to beat Derek Jeter because Derek Jeter transcended the sport. He wants to be that next Dominican star that crosses over. He wants to transcend the sport. Like he wants the endorsements. He wants, he wants to date them.
He wants to be the face of baseball.
Exactly. And you know what? I like that whole, that putting on the chain and that whole swag, because you know what? When you can back it up, you can do it all you want. When you can't back it up, like Amir Garrett, that's when you need to close your mouth and go back to watch some video.
I'm an Amir Garrett guy, but I don't disagree.
But if you want to back it up, then go ahead and back it up. Back it up.
So, we mentioned, what was telling about that was Derek Jeter has basically raised a generation of shortstops from Troy Tulowitzki. All these guys that wear number 2, all these guys will tell you they idolize Derek Jeter. What I found interesting about Tatis' statement is he specifically mentioned being the next Dominican Derek Jeter. And everyone knows while A-Rod was more talented, Jeter was the guy. And I was a little surprised that he didn't say A-Rod. And he said Derek Jeter, and I think that's pretty telling.
And again, that's because Jeter was he wants to be the face of a generation. That's it. Who was the one doing the commercials with Yao Ming? Like and it was Derek Jeter, it wasn't A-Rod, because it was Jeter was the more marketable one. That's it. It comes down to marketing, and Jeter was more marketable than A-Rod.
It's that thing that Derek Jeter had, that thing that all the women wanted to be with him and all the men loved him. He's that charismatic that men love him, women want to love him. With A-Rod, guys rolled their eyes, women were like, oh, here we go. Derek Jeter is the man and will always be the man.
A-Rod is kind of like Oscar de la Hoya,
Sure. I can see cross-dressing. I can see it.
He's like the Oscar de la Hoya, for the casual Mexican hardcore boxing fan. Okay, he's all right, but he's not a true fighter. Like that's what they view Oscar as. But that's for the other podcast,
Not like Floyd Mayweather.
Hey, listen. Don't
Mayweather
let me
guy.
start on that. No, this is Down City for baseball, right? There's plenty of baseball to talk.
I'll always talk about Floyd Mayweather. I love him. You know what else? You know what else is coming out? Is Andy Martino. He wrote a book. He wrote a book about the Astros cheating scandal. And this article is an excerpt from it. And it basically confirmed what we already knew, which was the Astros were cheating not just in 2017, not just in 2018, but also in 2019. It goes on to tell you that other teams like the Dodgers, the Mariners, the Yankees, the Red Sox, all had suspicions, all requested MLB. Apparently there was some worn padding in the outfield that the cameras were pushed up against. Previously reported the Red Sox broke some rules while the Dodgers, Cleveland Indians, and Milwaukee's were suspected of it. What this book also does is clear the Yankees of any bullshit. So all those fans that were saying, oh, the Yankees were cheating too, released the letter. The devil's in the details. The devil's in the details. So the Yankees did not cheat. It says the Yankees did not break any rules. They were careful about keeping players away from replay monitors near their dugout, that they erected a barrier to prevent anyone from stopping by for a quick peek. It also says the Mariners covered up several GoPro cameras around their dugout when they were in Minute Maid Park. The Tampa Bay Rays asked MLB to be on the lookout for players wearing vibrating Band-Aids. We heard about the Band-Aid on Altuve during the 2019.
Yeah, not the shirt, la camisa no. Remember that?
Exactly. No, but this, and it even goes into Cameron Maybin tipping off the Yankees about Houston, because remember, he played for Houston. So, Andy Martino's book coming out, go buy that book. I don't want to hear any shit about the Astros not cheating. Black and white evidence is there.
By now, if you don't know the difference, because everybody always wants to equate it with, oh, everybody has always stolen signals. Everybody has always stolen signals.
Not the same.
If you cannot tell the difference between me taking advantage of your carelessness, relaying signals, and me using something that you don't have any access to gain an unfair advantage over you, then I'm sorry, but I don't know what else to tell you. If you cannot tell the difference between the two.
They had flashlights, they had cameras, they had
that is an unfair advantage that the opposition doesn't have any equal access to. It is an unfair advantage, but I don't want to hear it.
It's egregious, and I think if this were another team, the backlash would be different.
If this were the Cubs, for the first time in 108 years, they did this, so that it really doesn't count, say in St. Louis, right? It doesn't count. It's still 112, or whatever.
So let's take a look around the league. Let's start with.
All right, let's go.
Let's start with the AL East, which this week's first place occupant is the Tampa Bay Rays. They're hot again. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Boston is 6-4. The Yankees are sucking wind at 3-7. Blue Jays are 5-5, and the Orioles are in last place with 5-5. The Yankees are at a 0-run differential right now. I don't know who these guys are. I don't know the identity. There's talks about the Yankees becoming sellers at the deadline, which call me crazy. I understand it, and I almost agree with it at this point. The Yankees are playing like a 500 ball club all season. The Yankees playing like a 500 ball club last season. You know what? If you can capitalize on some of those assets and reload just for next year, you might have to do that.
But you know what? Clearly, here's the problem with the Yankees right here. The problem with the Yankees is that they have a bunch of chickens that are acting like sheep. And the problem is that you know why, and you don't do anything about it. Okay, you know what you got. You know what DJ LeMahieu you got there. You know what you got, and I'm sorry. What are you gonna get back from Gleyber for Gleyber Torres? It's not gonna be premium. So enough.
I wouldn't touch Gleyber. I wouldn't get rid of Gleyber unless I'm getting premium back.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You're gonna get something, but you're not gonna get top dollar for him at this. I'm
trading guys like Luke Voit.
Voit should have been gone a long time ago.
Trading guys like Luke Voit. I'm seeing what I can get for Andujar.
I see a lot of people telling me this every time you or Vince or whomever else calls Boone into question. It's the players. I'm sorry. When Zen, even I know from over here, from my cave right here with Hulk and Iron Man, if I have first base open and and Xander Bogaerts is coming to hit, I'm sorry, I'm gonna give him the base.
Who's been killing you, by the way?
Who's Xander Bogaerts? It's one of these guys. Okay, it's one of these players. So why is that the players or is that the manager? Okay, the manager matters. Okay, in baseball, look at the Boston Red Sox. Look what they're doing right now. And I'm sorry to tell you, Alex Cora may have fallen out of grace with me because I'm from the island and everything like that. But let's just call a spade what it is. Alex Cora is one heck of a manager, and he is showing it this year. And he is showing that if in all sports, other than in all of the sports, but in baseball more, the manager, the intangibles, or people that cannot measure matter. Okay, how a manager talks to his players, how they keep control of the clubhouse, that matters still. In this age that we want to measure everything, that intangible really matters, and Alex Cora is showing that. So I'm sorry, from Boone to Cashman, it may be a time, maybe it may be that time, and I'm sorry to tell you, to me it is that time.
With Cashman, I think it's easier to move on from him. There's a simple solution. Cashman's been with the organization since he was a puppy. You keep him. That's a great baseball mind. He's going into the Hall of Fame as an executive. You promote him to the president of baseball operations, and you bring in a new GM. And you give that GM full autonomy. You get rid of fucking Aaron Boone. You got to get rid of Aaron Boone. You know, I know Marcus Thames and I know Carlos Mendoza. A lot of people you got to let go of the coaches too. I'm tired of Aaron Boone looking like a petulant child, where you have a situation like Sunday Night Baseball, national TV, bottom of the ninth. You have this horrible, horrible strike 3 call on Gleyber Torres that's so egregious, everyone is losing their fucking mind. And your manager does absolutely nothing.
I would have gotten thrown out.
You know who stood up for their players? Phil Nevin, who came back from almost dying. He literally almost died during having COVID. He caught a staph infection, lost about 30 pounds, just came back to the team that weekend. That's the guy that came out of the dugout to argue and got booted. Him, not the manager, fucking Phil Nevin, who was like on one leg with a cane, for Christ's sakes. So
and then the first base coach ended up being the second string coach. Like they were the second string of coaches. Like how many other guys are gonna get thrown out before Aaron Boone goes with his guys? Yeah. Because I mean, but then again, here we are talking about robo-umps still, and it is 2021. So that leads us into, again, we're still talking about it. Why are we still talking about something that has such an easy solution? Oh, because it's a chip on the agreement, right?
Sometimes you hold on to things too long, and this is a situation where I think it's time for the Yankees to move on from Aaron Boone and possibly even Brian Cashman. It might be time. I'm trying to look at the comments and I see that there's a ton of comments, but I'm not seeing them. Can you see them?
No, I really cannot. Let me try again.
Anyway, I'll keep going. I can see them on my phone for some reason.
Oh, you can?
There was some good comments too. Jeter gives gift baskets. Very true. Jacob Moses with his shit. Voit is better than Pete Alonso. Yes, Voit is better than Pete Alonso. He still has no place on this team. So yeah, I'm sorry. I know we were going around the league. I just wanted to start with the Yankees because
that's an indictment on the Mets, though.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I think the Yankees might have to be sellers and just retool and restock that farm system with a ton of money coming off the books.
Well, and that may be it, but I mean, you can't just do a half retool, but that doesn't work with you guys up there.
We did it in 2016. We loaded up. We traded Chapman. We traded Andrew Miller. We got some pieces back, and we were right back in the hunt the very next year. It can be done.
But you have two chips that everybody needed.
We have a great core right now.
Yes, you do. Yeah, that is very correct. But back in 2016, you had 2 chips that everybody wanted and everybody needed. And in the Cubs case, they overpaid for.
I would dangle Chapman again.
You know what? It's hard to argue because we actually won.
You got Zach Britton coming back. I would dangle Chapman.
So I mean, you part ways with Chapman. Let's see, you part ways with Boyd. You part ways with. I mean, what are you gonna do with Urshela? You still.
I love Gio. Gio's proven himself. Gio stays. He's part of the foundation. He's not part of the problem. You can get rid of Andujar. He still has a ton of talent. He's starting to hit again. He's looking better in left field, believe it or not.
And what's Brett Gardner still getting starts for?
Brett Gardner should retire already. You know, baseball players will always tell you they're afraid of retiring 1 year too late and 1 year too soon. And Brett Gardner is a perfect example of that.
That's I don't know. Like I don't know if the Yankees are still holding to the last bit of 2009 they have. I mean,
next few weeks are going to be interesting for sure.
They're going to be really interesting because we have all these teams that, you know, when we did the beginning of the year show, they were projected to be sellers at the deadline, and now they're buyers. Okay, and now we have other teams that are projected to be buyers and are now trying to sell. Like we were all expecting for the Yankees to make some tweaks and some moves, but we weren't talking about them retooling and talking about getting rid of Gleyber Torres on June 7th.
Yeah, 101 potential on that team. So I want to go. I know we talked about the AL East. Let's go to the NL East because the NL East is exciting. Every week we do this show, I think there's a new team in first place in the NL East.
Yeah.
This week it's the New York Mets. 6-4 in the last 10 games. You know, they still got some key injuries, but they got Jacob deGrom on that team, and they have a good offense there. They're putting things together, and they're eking out wins, man. They're winning games in all different types of ways. They're exciting. First place for the Mets. They are about 2.5 games on the Braves. Phillies have kind of taken a nosedive this week, 4-6 in the last 10. The Marlins are the Marlins, and the Nationals are actually worse than the Marlins. So, Leon, I think it's time to start trading some of those people, and you two guys, got to reload up there in Washington.
Well, you know what? I know a team in the NL Central that could use a guy like Scherzer. I'll tell you that. Or, you know, you want to get rid of him or Patrick Corbin. I know a team in the NL Central.
Taking that Corbin contract right now.
What's that?
Who's taking that Corbin contract?
I mean, he's still got some left. Better than the Strasburg contract. I've taken that contract on.
I think I'll take Strasburg and his contract over Corbin and his contract.
I don't know, man. I mean, Strasburg. I mean, I don't know. I don't know with Strasburg. Then again, you know, maybe he did have the 2019 season, but I mean, was that the last bit of left that was left in there, or you know, he's still not responding to the treatment. He's getting a little older, so I mean,
let's move to the AL Central where the White Sox are still occupying first place. Plus 90 run differential, missing 2 of their big bats, and they're still slugging their way to wins. They're 7-3. They're killing it at home. They're 24-10 at home, still in first place by 4 games. The Cleveland Indians, I don't know what the hell they are. They're good, they're bad, they're mediocre. They're just right there. Then you have the Royals, the Tigers, and no one expected the Twins to bring up the rear end this
year. What happened with the Twins? I want to know, like, what happened? Like,
can't figure it out.
You gotta. I mean, what happened to Miguel Sano? What happened to Arias? What happened?
Miguel Sano has turned into the third base version of Chris Davis.
And you know what? Jose Berrios is actually putting it together. He's one of the few people that's actually dealing in that team. But he's not gonna carry the whole pitching staff. That guy is not. He's not a number one. He's not gonna carry you, but he's at least pulling his weight. What happened to the Twins? Like,
I have a bone to pick with Jose Berrios. I have a bone to pick with him. All right, he had the potential to be the greatest Puerto Rican pitcher we've ever had. That spot is currently occupied by Javi Vasquez.
Javi Vasquez, yeah.
I cannot wait for somebody to take that mantle as the next great Puerto Rican pitcher. We have every other position. We cannot produce pitchers. And Jose Berrios had the ceiling to be that guy. And what you're seeing is a good pitcher. He has the stuff. He had the potential to be great. So I have a bone to pick with him, man.
Well, and you know what? He bet on himself because I think he turned down 8 years already once. Like he's already like in the beginning he turned. I think it was 7 or 8 years. I think it was 6 or 7 that he already turned down. And so he bet on himself, and you know, I guess things didn't work out, and now he's probably just gonna have to try to tough it out with that team. They're 24-36. The Twins. I think they're the surprise of the first half. Honestly, the negative surprise of the first half.
I told Vince last week. I think we're seeing a carryover effect from 2020. I think Guys are tired. They're playing with a new ball. There's so many variables that are happening to this 2021 season that it's just a very weird season the way it's playing out. And we're going to probably see a team that no one expected to win the World Series this year. And I guess it would be exciting. A team like the Giants, maybe. I don't know.
Like the Giants now. Well, I'm talking about the Giants who they're having great seasons from Posey, Crawford, Longoria, guys that could have benefited from the rest last year. Those guys could have benefited from the rest from last year.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Crawford bounce back, very, very nice. You know what? Since we're there, let's talk about the West. You know what? I want to save the West for last. I'm sorry. Let's talk about the AL West, where the Oakland A's are still occupying first place barely. They're holding off the Astros. The Astros can hit, man. We knew they could hit. They have a plus 75 run differential, and they're in second place. So
they can hit, and they play in a hitter's ballpark.
The Mariners coming around. The Mariners sent Gerrit Cole back down to the minor leagues, by the way.
Ooh. Wow.
That's pretty big news because that guy, he's still going to be the kid. He's too talented to miss.
Yeah.
But I was surprised that they sent him back down.
And speaking of guys that have been sent back down, Kelenic from Seattle, Gerrit Kelenic, he got sent back down again.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Yeah,
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean the kid he had one hit in his first at bat and then went for like 0 for 25. So I mean, I think he got called up a little too early, to be quite honest with you, because I mean, but it was because I don't know if it was the pressure that the organization felt because of don't keep him down there, you're manipulating his time, this, then the other. But then again, he clearly needed a little more time down at the.
He looked like he was ready. He was hitting 96.
Yeah.
Slugging was 193.
He went like 1 for 4 in his first game, and then he took like an 0 for 20, like right then and right after.
You can't, as much shit as we give them, you can't fault them for sending him back down for some constant at bats and for some retooling. So
somebody said that Gerrit Cole just struck out Donaldson.
Just struck out. You know what? Let's take this opportunity to look at the scoreboard here. As I
let's do that.
So you got the Yankees up on the Twins 1-0 in the bottom of the first. Braves and Phillies are tied at 0 on the top of the fifth. LA's up 1-0 on the Pirates. That's on the bottom of the first. The Mets are beating the shit out of the Orioles, which is what they're supposed to do at Camden Yards. Top of the fifth, it's 7-1. 7 runs on 8 hits.
Wow.
Killing them. The Rockies are up on the Marlins 2-0 in the bottom of the fourth. Astros up on the Red Sox 5-3, bottom of the fifth. Brewers are losing to the Reds. The Brewers have been hot too. They're losing 5-2.
Oh yes. They have a really favorable schedule, and they have a really good team.
That's what you're supposed
to by us to win.
Yeah, you're supposed to beat the bad teams on your schedule. I hate when people use that as they're playing who they're supposed to play. They beat who they're supposed to beat.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what? If they weren't doing it, you hold it against them, right? So you have to count it for them when they do it. So they're beating major league teams. That's fair enough.
The Rays and the National tied at 3, top of the fourth. Blue Jays losing to the White Sox, bottom of the first. Indians up on the Cards, bottom of the first, 2-0. And the Rangers beat the Giants in the 11th inning. The A's have beat the Diamondbacks. Cubs beat the Padres, and the Kansas City Royals are playing the Angels later on. I believe that is a full schedule today.
Yeah, full schedule ahead of the day off tomorrow, I think. So
the reason I'm acting surprised is because I thought it was Monday and it's Wednesday.
No, it's Wednesday, my man. But I'm
sitting here thinking, why are there so many damn games on the Monday? And it's because it's Wednesday.
No, the travel day is tomorrow, Thursday.
Travel day is tomorrow.
And
that's hilarious.
But you know what? It's been a really, really, really fun season, really. So
you say fun, I say funky. It has not been fun for me.
It's kind of like how was the wedding? Have you ever gone to a wedding? And the wedding is fun and interesting because a grandma got drunk and she started, dancing on top of a table. Yeah, that wedding was fun because it was interesting like that. So that's kind of like how this season has been fun. It's it's been fun, and the no hitter has stopped, so
As I told you guys they would.
yeah, it's gonna level off. We weren't gonna end up with 35 no hitters. So
Let's look at the NL Central where things are interesting. I called the Brewers early in the season. They got cold. Now they got super hot. And like you said, they played. I think their last 3 series were all sub 500 teams.
oh, the next as of last week, the next 28 games they have were with sub 500 teams. So
you know what? This is where they got to. This is where they got to eat. This is where they got to get fat. They're 9-1 in the last 10. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're in first place in a very boring division.
Yeah,
Cubs are playing good baseball. The Cubs are in second. No, they're tied for first, actually. They're tied for first after the win today.
Yeah, after the win today, but the Brewers are still playing. So the Brewers still have the loss column.
Yeah, win percentage right now is tied, so something will give way at the end of the year, at the end of the day, sorry. The boring ass Cardinals are in third place.
They're starting to feel the no flaherty. The Goldschmidt is, I don't know what's happened to him, Henry, but Goldschmidt is really slowed down.
You know what? I will tell them, I will give you back, Luke Boyd.
Luke Boyd.
But it's going to cost you a lot more than Giovanni Gallegos. You don't want to jump. I'll take Flaherty off your hands. He's having a rough season.
But you know what?
Off your hands.
Well, the Cardinals are doing well. You got Arozarena and Patrick Wisdom, but they're doing well for other teams.
Yeah.
So and Colton Wong, we call them here. Colton Wong was a great addition to the Brewers, and as soon as he came back, that's when they started catching fire because he was hurt, and as soon as he came back, they started catching fire. So
got to be one of the most underrated stars in the game, if not the most underrated. That man gets no respect. When you talk about the best middle infielders, you rarely hear his name. He's like the Xander Bogaerts of second baseman.
Oh, definitely. He's and he's something serious. He's a great defensive player. He's a plus offensive player too. It's not like he's hitting a $195.
Let's finish for our resident Pirate fan, Brandy. The Pirates are 23-26 with a negative 77 run differential. Yes, they suck, and they will always suck.
And not only can they not tag on first base, they also can't step on first base.
Oh my God! Did you see that?
Keep Ryan Hayes, my man.
Oh my God!
What in the world? This guy is the franchise in Pittsburgh right now, and all of a sudden, not only can you not step on first defensively, now you can't step on it offensively.
He just, I can't believe he botched. They had a home run called into an out because
and all he had to do was go back and tag and come back around. I mean, this guy.
Let's shoot to the West because the West is interesting to me. The West, like the NL East, there's some flip flopping going on in first place there as well in the last few weeks. The Giants are back in first place now. The Giants, again, I've been waiting for the Giants to cool off since 2020. I thought the Giants should sell their assets in 2020 and retool. They competed last year. They actually made trades at the deadline to acquire talent. They went out and they added to the team this year. And right now they're in first. Say what you want about the Dodgers and injuries. They're pitching with the Dodgers. They're hitting with the Dodgers.
My only question with the Giants is, and this is the only question I have with the Giants. I see 38-22, and that's a very fair record. Nothing against them. But my only question about the Giants is we have Posey, we have Longoria, we have Crawford, and they're clearly overachieving by the standards of how people normally age. Now, these are 3 very accomplished stars. Okay, I would say out of the 3, I'd say Posey is the Hall of Famer. I would say, and then the other 2 are very solid players. But are they overachieving? Are they due to hit that wall? Because
it's been a good sample size. You have 60 games last year plus over 60 games this year. So you have almost 130 game sample size. That's a good sample size. I mean, maybe they're just a good team.
Well, and rightfully so. I'm just wondering about what if they just lost Longoria for I think an extended period of time too. I think he's out for like 4 or 5 weeks if I'm not mistaken. So that's gonna hurt. Who's gonna step up? Like who's next? Because that's always something that's been characterized of those Giants team. So who's next? Who steps up next? So somebody's gonna have to pick that up.
They have Dickerson. They have Yaz. I mean, they got some guys there.
Well, yeah, Stremski's been really getting it in. So.
And don't get me wrong, I love Buster Posey. Like you said, he walks into the Hall of Fame. But for selfish fantasy reasons, I'm stashing Joey Bart. So I'm gonna need the Joey Bart era to hurry up and start, please. So I can get him out of my minor league slot and put him in my.
Yeah, and you know what? He's one of the one of the rookies that you gotta watch and see if they become somebody. So
no, they're still holding down first baseman, and I give them credit. Everyone wrote them off last year, and they're doing it.
And you know what? If it's not broken, don't fix it. You know,
you have the
Dodgers rolling with the same horses until they give you a reason not to. So
you have the Dodgers and the Padres fighting for second and third place. 35-25 record for the Dodgers, 37-27 record for the Padres. Look, those three teams are slugging right now. And believe it or not, the Giants actually have a bigger plus differential than the Padres. The Diamondbacks and the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks and the Rockies, holy shit, are these two teams horrible.
Yeah, we knew it was gonna get ugly in the bottom of that division.
I knew the Diamondbacks
and everybody else, but it wasn't.
Diamondbacks were gonna be bad. I had no idea they'd be this bad.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Arizona and Pittsburgh in the same sentence. So
it's brutal.
It's brutal what happened here. So, yeah, it's the Giants until somebody dethrones them right at this point. Like the way this season's
I just have to get healthy and come back.
Everybody's just gonna have to eat the crow on that one because it's that simple.
Until they do it, it is what it is. It's the Giants division right now. Let's talk about your Cubs. What do you think about your Cubs? Because I know the Cubs are competing. They have been playing some exciting baseball this year, but you guys are in a similar situation like the Yankees, where you got some assets you can sell off, but you guys are playing. So what as a Cubs fan, tell me, what do you think should happen?
Well, here's what I see. Here's what I see. I gave everybody the deadline of June 15th, and wherever the Cubs were at that point, and we kind of see now, is it fair to hold a team's record in the West Coast alone? Not really, because of the way the schedule works. But what's equal is not an advantage. It's fair enough, okay? But let's hold it that way, okay? Bottom line is, as long as you're up top, you can't sell. I mean, as long as you're up top, Henry, you cannot sell. I mean, what message are you sending your ticket?
No, I get it. You guys are right there. You're tied for first place, so I get it. But if you dip to second place,
I would say if June 30th comes through, and you're still got a solid 3-game hold of first place, if you're within a series, if you're a series ahead or within a series, I'm sorry, you already messed up the Bryant extension. So you're just gonna have to eat the crow on that one. You're just gonna have to hold on to him and throw a Hail Mary, go get Scherzer, go get somebody who can pitch game 1 and try for one more. I mean,
I still think there's no way in hell they sign Bryant.
But I mean, they're not gonna sell him, so they're not gonna sign him. I don't think they will.
I think you would have to blow him out of the water with the deal in order for him.
You would have to come with 10 years or something like that.
You have to pay him for the first 2 years that you jerked him.
That he's gonna make you pay him back, and you know what? C'est la vie, such is business. So, but you can't just say business is business, and on one side of the equation, you gotta see it on the other side as well. So, I don't think there's no way they'll sign him again. So if you're still competing, go get some starting pitching and throw the Hail Mary and try for one more before he leaves, because you cannot justify selling the MVP of the league while you're competing. That's just unheard of. You can't do it. You can't.
What you did there.
You can make an argument that Brian is the MVP of the league right now. You can make that argument.
You can.
So, I mean, selling the MVP while you're still within 2 games of the division, they're going to call for your head in the Tribune. Because
like Austin said, the Cubs definitely need pitching. So
they need pitching. Go get Scherzer. This kid Alcantara, he's been showing. So
the problem with getting Scherzer is that you guys don't have a loaded farm already.
Oh, that's
So whatever assets you would have to give up, it's further depleting what your future could look like.
yeah. You don't. We don't have as many chips. We will have to. We're probably gonna have to go get a guy that we're probably gonna have to go eat a little bit of that contract. So I mean, but if we want Scherzer, we're gonna have to come up with some assets. And
I think as far as you calling Chris Bryant the National League MVP, I think Ronald Acuna and Castellanos have something to say about that.
hey, what are the team? Hey, listen. And then that's where I break the old friend. Okay, who's on the top? That's when you break the old friend. Who's up top? You see, that's it's not the equalizer. It's not the all be all.
You know, too,
But who's up top?
Trey Turner's having an amazing season on a really, really bad team.
And you know what? But this dude, I mean, he's getting paid in 2 years. Do they hold on to him? I mean,
Austin has a question. He wants to know, what do you think they do with Javi? Can they trade him?
listen, with Javi, you're getting what you're getting. So if you're willing to, he is signable. He is extendable. He's not you better make sure you can't sign Bryant before you even look his way. Okay, so before you offer a buck to Javi, I'd say, hey, listen, let's try to get somebody. But save your money and go after Trey Turner. I don't know, because I mean, Javi's gonna want to get paid.
You know why that makes sense?
The fact of the matter is that Javi's nothing but slug.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a 500 slugging guy with a 300 on base. That's who he is. And
a shitload of defense.
And a good defender. That's it.
No,
is
no,
that
no.
worth?
He's a great defender. He's not.
Is that worth the 30 AAV he's looking for? I don't think so, honestly.
Yeah, but I don't
think he is.
I don't think anybody gives him 30.
I mean, somebody's gonna give him. You don't see somebody giving him 7 and 210.
No way.
Somebody gives him 7. Somebody gives him 6 and 180. Somebody's gonna give him 30 AAV.
I think he gets 25 a year, 20, 25 a year. I can't see
25 on 7. Yeah, I can see that, but I mean, I don't see Javi Baez as a 25 a year guy. I'm sorry.
I agree.
He is who he is. You know, he doesn't get on base enough. And everybody, word is out, low and away sliders. And you know what? He'll wake up one day and he won't chase for a week, and he'll chase them all next week. That's too much inconsistency for the cornerstone of your lineup.
I'd say you put, though, like you said, for the Cubs to bounce back, I wouldn't trade for guys. I just spend my money. Spend money in the offseason.
Spend the money. Throw money at the problem, the cash cow.
You make a shitload of money, you spend money. That's how you do it.
And you know what? Ricketts, I mean, the Ricketts family, they understand that, and Hoyer did say that the wallet was going to be open here soon again. So we shall see. But if the Cubs are competing, I'd say hold on to Bryant and start throwing money around and see if you can get. We need 2 pitchers. We need 2 top of the rotation pitchers. That's what we need.
Well,
we need 2 top of the rotation pitchers. 2 pitchers that can pitch games 1 and 2. Kyle Hendricks cannot pitch game 1 of any series.
I will trade you Jameson Taillon or Corey Kluber. You can have one of them.
I'll take either one. I'll take Kluber in a second right now. I'll take Kluber in a heartbeat right now.
The free agent list next year is going to look pretty interesting. There's some guys like Marcus Stroman hitting the market. Buster Posey's a free agent. Interesting.
Yeah.
Club options. JD Martinez is a free agent. That's going to be interesting if we get universal DH.
Universal DH, that opens the job market for him, and and for Posey as well. Posey, as much as he's a good defending catcher right now, but
Castellanos is a free agent. I did not know that.
That was a short contract he signed with or is that an opt-out he has?
That's a player option, so
it's a player option. Okay.
He's as good as gone, I think.
Yeah, Cincinnati. I mean, they didn't pay Bauer. What would they pay Castellanos?
It's weird. It's highlighted green and it says there's a player option, but if you go onto Sport Track, it says he's got 16 million next year, 16 and 23, and 20 and 24. Okay, he has a player. He has an opt-out at the end of this season, which you can guarantee he's going to take that.
I mean, he's leading the league in batting, isn't he? Still,
Castellanos is as good as gone. He's got a
yeah,
player
he's
buyout.
gone. I mean, they didn't. Again, if they wanted to hold on to Castellanos, they should have signed at least Bauer, so they could at least show the guy that they were competing. They didn't sign Bauer. Why would they sign Castellanos?
Castellanos may look good in pinstripes. I don't know.
He's as good as gone. So
Yeah, I think so too. So we did everything. We did all the leagues. Anything you want to go over? Anything you guys want to talk about? Let me know.
well, I wanted to see. I got some. Everybody knows that
You had some heat for us, right?
What's that?
You had some heat for us.
Yeah, man, because I'm a collector. I'm a collector, and about once a year, here's what me as a teacher, what I do. I come in here to my little bat cave, okay, and I go and I dig into the 2 years prior rookies that I was saving to see which ones have hatched and which ones are showing, promise and all that. So I wanted to show you guys some rookies from 2019, and you guys have had that data to look at kind of, to see which way they're heading. So that way I can show you a rookie from 2019. I got the rookie card right here. They got a couple of years under their belt, and you can tell me, hey, keep it or sell it. It's kind of like a take or sell, to see how kind of guys are kind of doing here lately. Okay. So, all right. So I'm gonna show you a couple of guys that everybody was tracking a couple of years ago. Should I keep this one right here? I got Mr. Kevin Biggio right here. He's having a really tough season this year. That's his rookie card right here, Mr. Kevin Biggio, 2019 Topps number 42. What we got? What we got with this dude?
I'm selling that one.
You selling this one? You don't think he can come back?
I'm selling the slap hitter.
Well, he is a little older. Like he's like 26. Yeah, selling this guy. Okay, what about my man right here? We were just talking about him. This was a 2019 rookie, Mike Yastrzemski.
How old is Yaz?
Yes, right now he is 30.
He's in his 30s. That's what I thought.
Right now.
Sell his ass.
Nope. Yeah, this guy right here. All right, what about my guy? Hey.
Wait.
Right here.
You showed me one. I'm just going to show you one.
Go ahead. Show me.
Bo Bichette. What are we doing?
Bichette. Keeper.
That's what I thought, baby. Bo Bichette is a keeper.
Keep it.
That's a 10 mid, by the way.
That's a 10 minute. Keep it, bro. Keep it. Keep Bo and keep this guy right here. What we got right here? Who's this?
Oh, you keep my guy. Why is that not graded?
Bruh, well, because there's a backlog. There's a huge backlog, by the way. There's a huge backlog. Like, unless it's a premium service, which means a card over $5,000 in book value, they're not gonna grade it because they gotta catch up from the spike that they've gotten on the hobby. Hey, I'm gonna show you a guy right here. You tell me about this guy right here. All right, I got his chrome card right here. A lot of people.
I gotta read Leon's comment. Measuring contest on Dong City. Vince will love this.
Hey, what about this dude right here? Who you got?
Who's that?
Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso. I got something for you. Also Pete Alonso.
So buy or sell. What we got?
I'm keeping the polar bear.
I'm keeping this. A lot of people were worried about this guy last year.
I'm still worried about him. I don't think he's going to do what he did his rookie season. But Pete Alonso, he's my new favorite guy because of what he did on that microphone today.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of like called it in. He called it in. Hey, I got a Yankee for you. You gonna tell me about this dude right here?
You
got Thairo Estrada. What you got?
He's not a Yankee anymore.
What happened to him? What do I do with him?
I wish. I'm gonna sell it, but I'm telling you, the Yankees should not have traded him.
No, that's right.
I got a Yankee for you.
Yeah, go ahead. Show me. Who you got?
Yeah, I got the Yankee.
Jason?
The Martian, baby.
Jason Dominguez?
I got a couple.
Hey, listen. They're saying that if the reason they're talking about selling Glaber is because they're talking about, this is gonna be the next dude right here.
Yeah, so, they're putting him in center field.
Center field.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
That's the other one I was looking for.
I'm gonna show you
His
who's that?
Backstreet Boy pose. That's Jason too.
That's kind of like the Manny. That he kind of looks like Flex Cabana when the Rock was Flex Cabana. You know that with the little man pack and everything. So, have you given up on these guys yet? Let me show you a couple of guys that were hot in 2019. And have you given up on these guys yet? Have you given up on Carter Keyboom?
Not
Age 24. He was supposed to take over for Anthony Rendon.
That was the reason they did
not.
That's the reason they didn't extend Rendon. I'm gonna say keep him for now.
Okay, you know he's in AAA right now. His OPS is 758 in AAA, age 25.
I know it's tough.
So this is the reason why I don't know if Jacob or Leon is watching. This is the reason why Rendon was not signed.
That is why
right now that seems like a boon-headed move. So we shall see. What about this dude right here?
I think if you're a Nats fan, you got to keep him by default.
that's low. What happened to my man right here with the Twins, Luis Arias? I mean, I know he's been hurt and everything, but
Basura.
Afuera.
He's having a good year though.
He did have that season, but what about my man Corbin Burns right here, 2019?
He's killing it, man. You keep that, man.
We gotta keep this one, bro. This guy is setting records, man.
He's killing it.
But is he gonna be affected by this whole new movement? I don't think so, because he's a younger guy and there's not enough incriminating stuff, you know, for him.
It depends. I'm sure baseball will change the fucking baseball again.
Which brings us back to what Alonso was saying, right? So my guy right here, this is for all my Angels fans, because I tried to put a couple of guys right here, of some of the viewers that we always have. Look, what about David Fletcher, man? Come on, that guy got extended, bro. What we got with this dude? No. Afuera, man. Hey, look, Cubs fans, they're in love with this dude right here, Patrick Wisdom. Hey, that's the new David Bodie in town. You'll see him in a couple of weeks. But hey, setting all social records and player of the week right here.
Looks like a big dude.
Another former Cardinal, by the way, that's thriving somewhere else. So
what else you got?
So what about this dude? Are you ready to I
got some stuff for you too here, by the way, to go through.
Bring it.
All right. What are we doing about this guy? Last year's rookie of the year.
Kyle Lewis. You know what? Hold on to it for now, but isn't he like 25?
I think so.
Yeah, so put it with the Yastrzemski pile, you know, just maybe.
I don't know. I think I'd rather have Kyle Lewis a hell of a lot more than I would Yaz.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but I mean, he's coming out of injury, and then he played a little bit, didn't seem that great, and now he's injured again.
What we think
Gavin Lux?
What we think about the future in LA?
Gavin Lux? Hey, listen, he's been given the chance, though. I mean,
he's the reason they're going to let go of Seager, right?
Hey, listen, he's been given the chance. I don't want to hear that he hasn't been given the chance. Second base was his for the taking, okay? And I got 3 babies here, rated 9 mint, 9.5 gem mint, and a 10 gem mint. Okay.
So let's start from lowest to highest. This is a 9 mint, the face of baseball.
Ooh, Tatis Jr., papa. That dude.
Who should be the face of baseball. So
this dude right here, I tell you.
There you go.
That's the dude. That's
this
the man.
Rated 9.5 gem mint. Ready?
Bring it. Wander Franco, yeah.
I thought we were gonna see him this year. Who knows?
But you know what? I was listening to the Rays commenting the other day, and you know he's only 20 years old. We've been hearing about this kid for a couple of years. I thought this kid was 22, 23. This kid's only 20 years old. Like,
you ready for my 10 gem mint?
Bring it.
Luis Robert. Can you see it? Did I lose Melvin? Rob, you still there?
Hey, Henry, you froze?
There you go.
We lost Henry. Yeah. Oh, there you
Okay.
go. He's back. He's back.
We're good.
I was saying this is rated 10 Gen Mint, Luis Robel.
Luis Robert? Bro.
That's all my heat right now.
Hey, what about this dude right here? What do you think about him? Madrigal. Keep or go?
If you like slap hitters, you keep him.
Yeah, I mean, he's got value, huh? I mean,
Not value.
he's got value. I mean,
Here's a comment that probably has no value.
Who's that?
It's just, this is Javi Baez actually wearing Roberto Clemente's jacket. This is actually Roberto Clemente's jacket from the museum.
Wow.
We had Dwayne on. I don't know if you ever saw the episode where we had Dwayne Reader, the curator of the Clemente Museum.
Yeah.
And I've gone there many times. I tell people all the time, this is actually a card from the All-Star game that was held in Pittsburgh. And Javi begged Dwayne to wear the jacket. It was a perfect fit. So his frame was about to say the Clemente, and he wore it on TV for the All-Star game.
That's what's up, man. I tell you, man, that's what it's all about, man.
Topps made a card out of it, which credit to them. This is a pretty badass card. Probably has no value, but I'll always keep this in my collection.
It's plenty valuable, man. Like I said, this should only be done for the kids. You know, this is for collecting issues. This should not be you know, this ain't used car sales. You know, this is for the kids. You know, so.
And I think Rob just said that Stanton hit a 3-run home run, but his exact words were, "Oh my God." So I didn't see the home run, but I'm going to look up the stats. It was 423 feet. Not bad. Oh, Ohtani. Did you see the home run that Ohtani hit yesterday?
Yes, I did. It was 430, like unreal.
477 or something.
477, like unreal.
This kid is the truth, man.
Hey, you know what? I was gonna throw another name at you, and you know what? A guy that did really well last year, and this year I don't know what happened to him. What do I do with him? Alec Bohm.
You keep him. I like Bohm.
He's got the look.
You keep Bohm.
He's got the look. He's got the Chris Bryant look.
I like Bohm.
But I'm gonna keep this dude because he's got to fix something in his swing. He's not slugging as much as a guy his size should be slugging.
You brought up Alec Bowman and brought the Phillies. I got a random question. Where does Joe Girardi end up next year?
Where is Joe Girardi what?
Where does he end up?
After this?
I think Joe Girardi's gone after the season.
You know what? I would love for nothing for him to come back home. But
back to the Yankees? I like that.
No, back home. Back home. But you know what? What do y'all got to lose? I mean, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do Rossi that way because David Ross has done a pretty decent job with the Cubs.
David Ross, that'd be a public relations nightmare if you guys got rid of Ross. Right?
Yeah, no, David Ross is staying for the time being. He's staying.
Brian Cashman would not want the egg on his face by bringing back Girardi. He's not.
No, that's why, and you know what? That's why Cashman needs to take. That's why y'all need to move on from Cashman because Girardi would make sense to bring back. It would make sense, but Cashman, and you know what? That's why Cashman needs to. Y'all need to move on from Cashman. Need to move on from Boone, and you know what?
Wherever Boone goes,
out there. What are these Dodger kids?
Listen to me. When Aaron Boone goes, I will personally drive his ass wherever he's being sent to, and on that drive, I will recite every freaking Boone-headed play that he's made, every call, every bad lineup, every shitty bullpen decision. I will do that the entire ride. So it could be a cross-country trip, and I'd probably still have ammo left to throw at him when I'm done.
Listen, I get it. It's frustrating, and you think to yourself because you bring these things up in the group, and I was like, it's like, there's gotta be a reason why this person is not doing this. Because if I'm a casual fan and I see this, why is this person not doing this? Like I've never found an answer to that question. Like when he did not walk Xander Bogaerts in, and that is just something academics. Like
ridiculous.
Like what in the world? Yeah, you were mad about the previous play and the previous call and all that, but I mean, if you're gonna stay in the game, then get engaged in the game. Don't stay in the game. Don't not get thrown out. And so if you're gonna stay in the game and not get thrown out and stay in the game, then manage.
Do you remember when he had that epic savage in the box? What the fuck is that animal? I don't get it. He frustrates the hell out of me, man.
But y'all are what, 31 and 30?
I hear his name and I want to throw a bottle at him or something.
What are y'all, 31 and 30 now?
No, I think we're better than
32 and 29, I believe.
32 and 29. We'll be 30 and
29
after today.
By the way, I got that home run ready if you want to see it.
Yeah, why not? You got
Let's
your,
go, let's go.
got your dong ready.
Stanton hits that in the air to center field, and wow, watch it fly!
A Stantonian home run.
He's
What
back.
a bomb from Giancarlo Stanton!
Giancarlo with a Stantonian home run.
I guess Ryan Rucco is doing the game today.
The three-run homer is a tool again for the Bombers.
Nice. I like it. We need all the offense we can get.
That was a like pretty deep center, like the up like that deck area where people just like watching the game. That's pretty far.
There's an old adage in baseball: home runs are great deodorant. And when you're not hitting and you can hit home runs, they clean up some of the funk that your team has. And we have the ability to have a lot of deodorant because we have some shitty hitters right now.
And you know what? They are contagious too. Like when people are hitting, it gets contagious in a
Well, I think that's it for today's show. Melvin, thank you so much for filling in, even though you were kind of the unofficial third host. At this point,
I hold the record, right? Kind of like
Randy
around the
back
horn,
it up.
they had the record. I own the record, so.
But as we always let you guys know, we have a slate of Wonderful Life Groups podcasts. Tuesday, we have the Audible with Randy and Matt. Football Life presents the Audible. If you're not in Football Life, get your ass in Football Life. Wednesday, we have us, so we're not doing Wednesday. Tennessee Titans, and who do they get?
Julio
Jones. I wanted him for the Niners, but I get it for Tennessee.
Julio.
Thursday, Workshoot Wrestling Podcast. If you're not in Wrestling Life, get your ass in Wrestling Life. Corey and Jason. Friday, the Step Back, because Vince always butchers this. Friday, the Step Back with Leon and Jacob, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're not in Basketball Life, get your ass in Basketball Life. Sunday morning, you want fantasy baseball? Sunday morning's your show. Total Bases with Felipe and Sean. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you in the comment section. Melvin, thank you again. You guys already know. Dog City, bitches.